Our first experience with the Ferrari F12 was disappointingly brief. A few hours behind the wheel simply isn't enough to fully grasp the capabilities of and overcome the sheer awe produced by this machine. The most powerful Ferrari currently in production, that is, until the LaFerrari, the F12 serves as the brand's flagship. And that distinction means it demands more than the cursory glance we got of it last year. We need to log more miles, test it, and lap it. So this week on Ignition, that's exactly what we're going to do. First, a bit of a refresher. The hardware is what you'd expect, 731 horsepower, courtesy of a direct-injected and over-square V12, a 7-speed twin-clutch transmission, and brakes sized 15.7 inches front and 14.2 inches rear. More interesting are the aerodynamic elements. Brake ducts in the front bumper open when the car senses the rotors are too hot. Vents carved out of the front fenders channel air around the front wheels, helping reduce drag. Overall, the F12 generates 271 pounds of downforce at 124 miles an hour. Inside, the F12 looks to have been sculpted from carbon fiber and leather. The giant tack dominates the gauges, though the navigation system leaves a little bit to be desired. The F12's launch control is easy to use and fairly consistent. Tap the PS button, hold both pedals, sidestep the brake, and the computers aggressively dole out torque as traction allows. Traction is the key word, as there's only so much of it when you have 731 horsepower. The 0 to 60 and quarter-mile results highlight the power application issues, but that trap speed shows just how hard the engine pulls. It's among some of the fastest cars we've ever tested. The best 60 to 0 stop we recorded took 106 feet. Now's the time we'd normally start our handling test, but because we're so close to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, let's just lap it there.
Well, we only had a very brief time to drive this car in Italy when we first drove it last year. We can dive into it a little bit deeper here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. And after doing that, I can confirm one thing: this car is indeed really fast. It's fast of the oh my god variety. This engine is just phenomenal. And when you get into the power, you feel that torque sensation build up inside you, and you can't believe that it's happening. You just want to stay into it longer and longer and feel that power. This V12 is the highlight of this car. It's a very racy engine in a car that's a GT car. This is a Grand Touring car. But there's almost a contradiction of its components because this engine is so racy, the steering is so racy. We have shift lights in the steering wheel, for crying out loud. I really enjoy driving this car. It is monumental. There's the acceleration, there's that sound, which is just orchestral. I mean, why isn't there an iTunes playlist from Ferrari with just this you could listen to, you know? We have big carbon ceramic brakes. Stopping power, it doesn't have that initial bite that I would want in a sports car, but again, it's a Grand Touring car, it's okay. We're on a street tire, a Michelin Pilot Super Sport, and frankly, it needs a bit more rear grip, but you know, we have 731 horsepower. Physics, the laws of physics allow only so much leeway. And how many drivers aren't going to be too intimidated when they do fully explore the rev band?
Little power oversteer as we're ripping up the front straightaway. Speedometer climbs so quickly it's just mind-bending. Big carbon brakes bring the speed down. You can tell we got a lot of weight and a lot of power, which means a lot of momentum. There are formulas for that in physics class, and this car demonstrates it live and in person. Steering super quick ratio. I love the steering. The chassis exhibits a bit of roll. And that's a compromise for the comfort that a GT car needs to have. Ferrari's got a firm feel. The engine feels like it's right from the Formula One circuit. It really does. Just way bigger. There's a little bit of brake dive, a little bit of body motion, all the result of trying to put together a car that will have the comfort that you expect in a fine Ferrari GT. This is the latest, most radical of all the Ferrari front-engine V12 touring cars. I said radical, I meant
it. Impressions out of the way, now it was time for Randy to set a hot lap. The Ferrari F12 is a simply spectacular car, delivering on every aspect you'd expect from a Ferrari. Consider the theatrics, the sound and the color of the thing. The music produced by the engine nearly eclipses the forward thrust for excitement. Then there's the performance, the superlative numbers this rear-drive Grand Touring car effortlessly spits out. The driving experience too, the way the F12 swells to speed and bends around corners. The immediate, focused accuracy contained in the steering is like no other production car. All this culminates into an intangible quality that leaves an imprint in your mind. It keeps your glance fixed on the car, even when you're walking away from it after you've parked it. You never want to let the F12 out of your eyesight.